I am the big tank.
On the battlefield of life, nothing's harder than a tank. Yeah, have you ever met a man, hearts full of love, bigger than a tank?
Big tank.
He served in a few wars, he's a veteran that stands for a cause. For the best interviews and news, just keep it glued to the tank.
I am the tank. Big tank.
Tank Talk.
Tank.
Big Tank Talk.
Tank. Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of Big Tank Talk. Today, I'm going to let this guest, is my friend Dan. I'm going to let him say his clapper name so you know it. Dan?
So for those who can not pronounce it correctly, it is SvartyrVargr. But everybody
Right.
calls me Dan.
And he'll be Dan for the rest of the interview. Dan, welcome to Big Tank Talk.
Thank you for having me.
And first question, tell us a little bit about you and how you came to be on Clapper.
Oh, there ain't much to really talk about me, but so sum it up, I was out in Texas doing sheet metal fabrication, and I had seen advertisements for the app and ended up giving it a shot. Met some wonderful people here, and then my wife.
Right on. So you didn't meet her till you were on Clapper. You met her here on Clapper, right?
Yes, I met her on Clapper through Paul and Val.
Oh, so we know who to blame now, right?
Yep, we know who to blame for the headaches.
So Peter wants to know, what do you enjoy most about Clapper?
When I'm on here, I enjoy the interaction with other people, whether it's music lives, whether it's other truck drivers. I enjoy interacting with people, talking to them. Makes the day go by a lot better.
Absolutely right. Now, I do know from your bio, you said you initially worked as a laborer. What is one lesson you learned working as a general laborer?
Yeah, something that's been instilled with me as long as I can remember. An honest day's work for an honest day's dollar.
That's good. That's good. I try to impart on my children and stepchildren that a good work ethic is absolutely invaluable once you become an adult and you enter the workforce. And I hope that that lesson stuck. With some of them it did, with a couple I'm not sure about. Um, what made you decide to start driving over the road?
I had an influence from several of the truckers that I have met on here. One of which, rest his soul, trucks Viking. He was the one that gave me the push to go to school, and I pushed through even after his passing, and here I
Right.
am driving a truck now.
So you don't have a lot of years of experience. How you liking it?
Um, as far as experience, I've got about a year and a half in, and I enjoy it. I don't like some of the stuff that goes on, with other drivers. Sometimes routing issues, but other than that, I overall like it.
Given that you've only been over the road a year and a half, what's the best place you've been to and the worst place you've been to?
Worst place I've been to. It's kind of tied between Indianapolis, delivering at Rural Street, because, well, it's kind of like a half lane that I'm in with a truck.
Right. Okay. Bugs wants to know, how much coffee do you drink in a day?
When I'm on the road, none. When I'm at home, probably two 40-ounce cups, maybe 3.
That's a lot of coffee, brother. So Peter wants to know, when will you and Vamp be doing shenanigans again?
When will we be doing shenanigans again? When she decides she wants to punish me with ripping hair out with wax.
All right. Paul, our friend Fear the Reaper, wants to know, who is your biggest influence in your life?
That's kind of a tough question because I've got a lot of different influences and they're all equally valued in my life. But I would say my mom was one of my biggest influencers. Always told me to go for what I wanted to do in life and stick to it.
That's good. Bugs wants to know, have you purchased stock in Monster yet?
If they gave me the option, probably.
How do you handle being alone and during long stretches of driving when you're over the road?
Long stretches of driving, usually if somebody's calling me on the phone, or I've got a group of friends that are also truckers that I'm part of their snap group, so they'll do a snap call and we keep each other entertained while we're on the road.
Okay. In the year and a half you've been over the road, where is the farthest from home you've been?
Farthest home I've been so far would be Combined Locks, Wisconsin, which I just recently started running those particular routes this past week, hauling those giant paper rolls for McKinley.
When you were learning to drive a big rig, what was the hardest thing for you to get a handle
on? Well, during the classroom part of it, it was basically doing what we needed to do to pass a state exam. Outside of the classroom, I'd say the biggest part that was a little bit harder to get a grip on would have been some of the backing maneuvers, because of where we're delivering. Some of those are totally different from what they have you learn in school.
Understood. Peter wants to know, have you pulled any practical jokes on anyone lately, and what's the funniest one you pulled?
Practical jokes lately, not so much. I think the most practical jokes I get is usually when I'm at home, because I move around quietly and she doesn't hear me coming and I startle the crap out of her.
Bugs wants to know, how many lot lizards have approached you at truck stops?
In the year and a half that I've been driving, none.
I'm sure that's not a disappointment.
No. I've
What's the
been
worst weather
approached
you've
by.
had? Go ahead. Okay, she wants to know, how many have you seen?
How many have I seen? I've probably seen a few, but as far as them personally approaching me, not.
Okay, what's the worst weather you've had to drive in, and how did you handle it?
Well, let's see. We had a tornado warning right outside of North Vernon, Indiana. Heard the sirens going off, got the warning on my phone. I pushed through until I could find somewhere safe to park, and I parked until the warning was over.
Well, that's good. What is your diet like when you're driving?
Oh, let's see. Normally, during my average work week, I'm pretty much snacking throughout the day, usually like cheese or chips, stuff like that. once I actually stop, then I'll go in to, say, a truck stop or somewhere that has like a home cooked meal and actually get something healthier.
That's always good. Welcome in, Karen and Ronan and Michael McKay. For all of you I didn't welcome in, I noticed, but I also will not interrupt Dan when he's talking either. Um, has being an over-the-road trucker changed your perspective on the country as a whole?
As a whole, yes and no. Don't get me wrong. Love the country. Love the scenery that I see when I'm driving. But long story short, I dislike the other driving public, especially, when they're glued to their cell phones, not paying attention.
Yeah, and there's a lot of that these days too. Bugs wants to know, how was the drive from Texas to Ohio, and how was it when y'all met in person?
Well, let's see. I've slept since then. The drive from Ohio to Texas, or Texas to Ohio, was 18 and a half hours. I drove overnight. So the drive wasn't too bad. Wasn't a whole lot of traffic until around lunchtime going through Tennessee. And other than that, wasn't too bad.
And you also answered Paul's question. He wanted to know how long it took you to get to Ohio when you moved out there. Peter wants to know, does your truck have a CB radio?
At the moment, it does not. I have the hookups for a CB radio, but 90% of the time, from what I've gathered from other truckers, it's just a lot of chit chat and people just talking shit. So I don't even bother with it being another distraction on the vehicle.
I understand that. If you said be on a CB, what would your handle be?
Oh man. So when I started with the company that I work with, I had a young kid that was in orientation with me. Got his phone number and everything. He's like, "I'm going to call you Rail Daddy." So I think that would probably be the handle that I would hold.
Yeah, Bug suggested one Dan, one cup.
Nah, we ain't doing the one Dan, one cup again.
So I told you I got some questions based on something that Vamp told me, correct?
Yes, sir.
She told me, and I knew you had an interest in it, that you're into Viking stuff,
Yeah.
history and lore and such. What first got you interested in the Viking stuff?
So I grew up as a Southern Baptist, and I kind of fell out of that belief system over the years, just the mind constantly questioning everything.
Right.
And I felt more akin to the pagan side of things, spirituality versus religion.
Yes, Ronan, I could tell by the hammer hanging around his neck, but again, he didn't put it in his bio. I put the questions in there because Vamp mentioned it, and I knew it anyway. Which Viking historical figure do you find most interesting?
Um, it's kind of a toss up between Ragnar Lodbrok and I can't remember, Harold Finehair and Leif Erikson.
So, does your interest lean more towards the mythical side or the historical side of Viking lore?
It's a little bit of both.
That's fair. Um, if you had to choose a Norse deity to represent your personality, which would it be and why?
Well, we already brought up the Dan's hammer remark, so we got old Thor in here.
Makes sense. Um, how do you incorporate your interest in Viking history and lore into your day-to-day life?
I think I need a bigger boat, not just a semi.
Yeah. Vamp asked, how many times have you watched the Viking series?
With her and without her, probably about 20 different times.
I watched it once. It was fascinating, though. I did enjoy it quite a bit. So Cracker Karaoke, which is, of course, our friend Steve, wants to know, what's your favorite game?
I really don't have much of a favorite. I know here lately when I'm at home, I've been playing a lot of 7 Days to Die.
Okay, we'll come back to gaming in a minute. Paul wants to know, if you could give yourself a Viking name, what would you choose and why?
If I could give myself a Viking name, well, I kind of did give myself a Viking name with the handle, which symbolizes the name SvartyrVargr or SvartyrVargr. In Scandinavian Old Norse is Black Wolf.
Okay. So Val is in, and she comes in with a question asking, how did you get the nickname Dobby?
Now, if I can remember that one correctly, it was while I was still in Texas, and I completely shaved my head. And around that time, bugs had started calling me Dobby. It kind of stuck.
Peter wants to know, when you're driving long distances, have you ever driven into Canada?
Oh, that is a negative. I've never been into Canada, and with the company I'm working for, it's highly unlikely that I will go to Canada.
Okay. Back to gaming for a minute. When you're playing games, do you prefer strategy games, RPGs, puzzle games, or action shooter games, stuff like that?
A little bit of everything. As far as what type of game, it could be anything from action, adventure, it could be racing, survival, first person shooter type games.
That's cool. Paul wants to know, what type of films do you enjoy watching the most?
When I sit down and actually watch movies, it's usually classic horror, like the old Child's Play movies, Nightmare on Elm
Mhm.
Street, Halloween, Friday the 13th.
All right. Mickey Magic asked, PlayStation, Xbox, or PC?
Xbox and PC. If I had an actual gaming computer, I'd probably lean more towards the PC.
Peter would like to know if you've ever played Grand Theft Auto.
Yes, sir. Played a lot of Grand Theft Auto.
Do you enjoy games with a Norse or Viking setting like Valheim, God of War, Skyrim, stuff like that?
Yeah. I played a little bit of Skyrim. I played Elder Scrolls Online, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, a little bit of Valheim. It's all really, if it engages me long enough to actually sit down and play it through.
So, if you could design your ideal video game, what would the setting and mechanics look like?
Mm, it'd be similar to something along the lines of like Ark meets Monster Hunter meets the Old Norse lore.
Well, that would be interesting. Steve asked, how much do you find that Norse culture coincides with Native American culture?
On the topic of the religions and what they believe in, they are very similar. But at the same time, we also have our Greek mythology, which is similar to the Norse as well as the Native Americans.
Okay. Paul says, he wants to know, do you agree with Dave Bautista being cast as Kratos for the God of War movie? I might have said the name wrong, but
Kind of, sort of, but not quite. On Dave Bautista, I don't know too much about him other than he was a wrestler at one point in time, but figure and build wise, he could pull it off.
yeah.
Now, never really seen him in the acting career.
Hey, have you not seen Guardians of the Galaxy?
Well, yeah, I've seen it in
He played
Guardians of
Drax
the
in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is Vamp's favorite game?
When she got back into gaming, that was Minecraft for the longest time. Now she's playing Ark Survival Ascended because she
Never
likes
heard of it.
collecting dinosaurs.
I also know you in your bio. You also said you like anything that challenges you, your intellectually, or challenges your ability to problem solve.
Mhm.
What kind of problem solving or puzzle do you enjoy the most?
Problem solving and puzzles that I enjoy the most. Most of the time, it's me calculating my timing
Okay.
because severe ADHD and management of time. It's kind of well, yeah, a little bit of problem solving with it.
Bugs wants to know: have you eaten anything that you actually find too hot to handle?
No, not really. I don't think the
What
nun
is
was spicy enough.
All right, Vam wants to know, why do you math so well?
I don't have an answer for that question. It's just something that I seem to excel in with mathematics.
I think it appeals to your need to be challenged intellectually and problem solving. Peter wants to know, have you ever been to many casinos?
Well, I might have been to 2 or 3 over the course of 42 years. Well, 41 years.
What is
Not real big on casinos and crap.
what is your
But
favorite non-traditional way to test your intellect?
non-intellectual way of testing my intellect. Well,
Non-traditional.
non-traditional is me when I'm gaming. Like prime example with 7 Days to Die, I do a lot of theory crafting and building in my head. Hello, Jody.
If you could master any complex subject overnight, what would it be?
Probably astrophysics.
Okay. And when you're problem solving, because I know you like to do that, how much of a role does intuition play?
Mm, when it comes to problem solving, trusting your guts seems to go a long ways.
Yeah. It's been my experience that generally your gut's right most, if not all the time.
And to be cheeky, unless you've had Taco Bell, then your gut's not always right.
No, it's right then too. It's trying to get it out of you as fast as possible.
Right. Quantum physics is a good choice as well, Ronan. Between quantum and astrophysics.
Yeah. Now, among the other things that you put in your bio, you said you like fishing. Do you remember the first time you ever went fishing?
Yes, sir. The first time I went fishing was in 1989. We had a ice chest full of Dr. Pepper and water, and we were out fishing in the canals in Luling, Louisiana.
So, who taught you?
I learned from my father. One of the few things me and him
Okay.
actually used to enjoy together.
We'll come back to this topic, but first, Bugs asks, where do you see your life in 5 years?
Still in a truck.
How likely are you to still be with the same company?
I would say it's pretty likely I would still be with the same company in 5 years, but I'm not a fortune teller. I can't foresee the future if something decides to change.
Okay. I want to come back to fishing. What's your favorite type of fishing? And what by that I mean, do you freshwater, ocean, deep sea, fly fishing, fishing in a lake? You know,
Um, so most of the fishing I've done in my lifetime so far has been fresh and saltwater fishing. Overall, I enjoy bass fishing, using lures and seeing what I can catch at that point in time. But at the same time, a good day fishing, whether I catch something or not, it's just enjoying nature.
absolutely. We'll step away for this for again. For Bugs would like to know condo or property.
Condo currently.
What is your preference, though? Is that your preference currently as well?
No, long-term goals would be a piece of property big enough to have a house on, have my own farm as far as vegetables and some livestock, because we know she wants the Highland cow as a pet.
Yeah. Peter wants to know what type of fish are there in the lakes where you are.
Where I am currently, I haven't done a whole lot of fishing. Last time I went fishing was in 2012, and I was down in Louisiana. So the types of fish that I know of out there, catfish, bass, sockeye, bluegill. If I go out to some of the lakes that are brackish, then I'm catching drum, croaker, and trout.
Right on. And welcome in, American Truth. Good to see you, brother. Um, for you, is fishing a relaxing getaway or a challenge?
It's relaxing.
Does do you like drinking when you're fishing, or do you like to stay clear-minded when you're fishing?
If I'm out there for an extended amount of time, yeah, I'll have one or two beers, but most of the time I just drink on a soda or energy drink and just enjoy it.
In all the time you fished in the past, where's been your favorite place to fish at?
I would say my favorite place to fish at overall would be Lake Pontchartrain or Manchac in Louisiana, because you do have that mix between fresh and saltwater fishing.
Welcome in, Jen, for Babies or Family. Good to see you. Um, now, you're originally from Louisiana, yes?
Yes, sir.
Do you miss it?
Um, I miss the food and I miss the culture, but living out there, like in New Orleans or overpopulated cities, not so much.
Understood. Peter asks, are there any venomous snakes in the wildlife where you are?
As far as venomous snakes where I am, I haven't encountered any, but I'm sure there are.
Ronan says he does. I don't think it's been mentioned. Do you play any musical instruments?
No, I did learn to play guitar a little bit by ear when I was younger, but I found that my voice was more of an instrument, and I kind of stuck with that.
And I'll just get into that. You mentioned in your bio that you like to sing when you're in the mood to do it. What puts you in, or what kind of mood do you need to be in to want to sing?
It depends really Like driving in a truck all day, if I'm not on a call with somebody or chatting with somebody, I'll turn the radio on and I'm just singing to the radio.
Right on. What genre of song do you like to sing most?
I'm more into hard rock, heavy metal.
Okay. Is there a song that as soon as you hear it, you got to crank it up and it automatically lifts your mood?
Not really. I'm pretty much anything that's up tempo, upbeat, like hard rock or heavy metal, stuff like that, that's got a very intense vibe to it, is usually what amps
Right.
me up.
Peter asks, "Are you a karaoke singer?"
I am when I'm up for it.
So another question. This is music and driving. When you're over the road, do you prefer quiet or do you like to have music going?
Um, I don't mind the quiet part of it, but sometimes it gets a little boring. So I do kind of have that need for a little bit of noise. So I do turn on music and just crank it up and go.
Ronan asked, and I was getting ready to ask the exact same question anyway. Do you have a favorite song of all time?
No, honestly, I don't think I have a favorite song of all time because I love all music.
Okay. How about this then? What is a song that you really enjoy singing that people would be surprised to hear you like singing it?
Mm. Well, Mr. Tank, you've already heard me sing Johnny Cash,
Yeah.
and I would say Hurt and Folsom Prison Blues are two of my favorites from Johnny Cash that I've sang with you guys.
I actually enjoy singing both of those as well. Um, you also mentioned that you like to go camping. Um, when's the last time you went camping?
Oh, shoot. I would say probably about 2015.
So you've never been camping with Vamp?
Never been camping with Vamp. I don't think she would like to sleep on the ground. Now, on a RV or a cabin, she's fair game.
Is she one of those people that if you go to a hotel without room service, you're camping?
Not really.
Because I've known a few people like that. If they go to a hotel without room service, they're roughing it. Um, so what is the best campfire meal you've ever made or eaten?
I'm sitting here reading comments. So, as far as campfire meals go, I did a lot of fishing, so it was a lot of fish on the fire, natural herbs like natural dill, stuff like that.
Ever gone camping anywhere and encountered a bear?
No. Unless we're talking about this kind of bear, no.
No, I was talking about an actual bear. Um, and Paul says just tell Vamp she's going to sleep how the cows do.
I mean, if she falls asleep standing up and I decide to go cow tipping, we know why.
What's the most scenic place you've ever gone camping?
Most scenic place that I've been camping would be along the Ocoee River in Tennessee.
Fair enough. Um, do you enjoy cooking?
I do.
What is the best meal that you can make? Everybody
I
has
think
something they're really good at. I'm sorry.
I like to cook, and to me, I cook pretty good. So I can do spaghetti, I can do steaks, meatloaf, red beans and rice, jambalaya.
What is one thing you absolutely refuse to cook?
If it's something I don't have any knowledge in, like pufferfish.
Oh, that's smart, Dan. Good not to cook something if you have no experience in it, if it can kill people.
Right. Or make them really sick.
That is true. How would your close friends describe your personality in 3 words? 3 words or less.
Extroverted, goofy, and asshole.
Fair enough. How do you handle stress?
I don't let it get to me.
You know, if you could teach people that, you could make a lot of money.
Right.
Bug says eclectic, energetic, and unpredictable. Those are fair words to describe you as well.
Yeah. I'll
What
take it.
what is a value or a principle that you refuse to compromise on?
Value or principle I refuse to compromise on. Well, being a trucker, you have to make sacrifices for your family, but the one thing that I refuse to negotiate on is when I'm getting home.
Fair enough.
Because to me, for those in the religious aspects of things, me being home with my family is similar to those who want to go to church on Sunday religiously.
Right. I
So
get it.
me being home is kind of like my church.
Absolutely. So Peter wants to know if you would consider doing a duet with him on a karaoke, and he's probably talking in My Karaoke Live to a Ozzy and Let Me Kill Mr. song, and I can't remember the title of it off the top of my head, but I'm sure Peter knows what it is.
Ozzy and Lemmy, if I remember
Well,
correctly, they did a duet for the song Hellraiser.
that's it. Yep. And I think that's what he's asking, if you'd consider doing a duet with him on that song for karaoke night.
Which part am I going for, Lemmy or Ozzy?
So Peter, is he Lemmy or is he Ozzy? Now Peter has the Lemmy mustache, so you'd probably be Ozzy.
Yeah,
Yeah, he said Ozzy.
I'd be down for it. I'm Tommy!
Um, do you consider yourself somebody who likes to plan things out, or do you consider yourself to be quite adaptable?
I'm adaptable, but I also enjoy planning things out.
That's fair. What do you think makes someone genuinely reliable?
Consistency. If they are consistent and doing what they say they are going to do.
All right, I really like this question when I found it. What is something that you've changed your mind about as you've gotten older?
As I've gotten older, things I've changed my mind about. Well,
If
long,
she's
long
still
time ago.
did she excuse me, did she leave already, Bugs? Because I can mod her. I got a mod spot open. I can mod her, and then I can see her comments. Anyway, go ahead, Dan. Sorry.
So things I've changed over the years. Well, long before me and Vamp were ever a thing, I used to have an adornment of hardware in my face.
Okay. All righty. Paul wants to know, over the years, what's the craziest thing you've ever done, and did you get caught by the fuzz?
Craziest thing I've ever done, have I ever been caught by the fuzz? I think everybody in their life has done some stupid shit. So I think the craziest thing I've ever really done that involved law enforcement was as a young teenager shoplifting. And yes, I was caught by the fuzz.
Peter wants to know, when are you and Vamp coming to see them in the UK?
That is going to be something that's going to take a little bit of time, but me and her can sit down and try to plan it out. And well, yeah, marrying the crazy one down there. Oh man, I would say hopefully in the next couple of years we can try to plan a vacation / honeymoon.
I do know that Vamp would like to go to the UK, so I'm sure it'd be a great trip for you guys to take. What is a skill or a trade you haven't learned but you'd love to master?
Brain surgery.
What about brain surgery appeals to you?
I'd like to lobotomize a few people.
Oh, I get that. Now, see, my answer to that, if my answer to that question, I would love to be able to learn how to make knives and swords and such.
As far as a craftsman trade, I would have to say weaponsmithing, armor smithing would be something I would get into.
Okay. When life gets chaotic, as it does for everybody at some time or another, what keeps you grounded?
In chaos, keeping myself grounded is just keeping a calm, collected head, and just like a storm, it'll pass.
And what genuinely brings you peace of mind?
Genuinely brings me peace of mind.
Yep.
Sitting down quietly, just gaming, brings me peace of mind. It gives me a way to unwind from the chaos in the world.
Okay, I got
gravity.
a couple of hypothetical questions for you. If you could tomorrow take a month-long trip anywhere in the world, where would you go and why?
Well,
Welcome in cushions.
a month-long trip anywhere in the world, I would probably start in Scotland and end up in Ireland.
And why start there and end there?
Based on surnames, tracking the family history, because I know a lot of my family were immigrated from Scotland to Ireland, Ireland to the U.S.
Right on. I understand that. I have some Irish ancestry, and I did a DNA test that said I'm a quarter Scot, but I don't know how. Anyway, Paul wants to know what in everyday life gives you the most joy.
It might be a little bit of mushiness, but between the cat and the wife, those are the two things.
That actually makes sense to me. I understand that answer. I appreciate it. Peter wants
Now,
to know. Peter wants to know if he had the money, would you and Vamp go to South Africa with him and Tracy?
never been to South Africa. Might fascinate me, but I might have to do my hair in the style of Jim Carrey and just be like I took one to the knee.
Okay. If you could build your dream off-grid home, what key features would it have?
Woods, mountains, streams, and nobody within 100 miles.
You know what? I like that. Paul wants to know, do you have any hobbies nobody knows about?
No, not really. I have to kidnap the loner wifey for that one too.
Do you set goals during your life, or do you just kind of take things as they come?
I set goals. Sometimes they're a little unrealistic, and sometimes they're easy to attain.
What is your favorite unrealistic goal?
Favorite unrealistic goal would be traveling the world on a Viking longship or boat in any case.
That could be fun, but it could be hazardous too. So, Peter wants to know, what's your favorite social media app?
Really don't have a favorite on social media. I don't exactly, get along with everybody on social media, but I'd say between Clapper and Snapchat would be the two things that I kind of dabble with.
Right. So, if you could go back and talk to your 18-year-old self, just starting out in the world, what advice would you give yourself?
Run.
From what?
Really wouldn't run from any damn thing, but 18-year-old self to me now, I'd probably advise him to finish schooling and getting a job that he enjoys doing.
Now, that's good advice. I like this hypothetical question. You're stranded on an island and you could only have 3 items. What are the 3 items you want to have?
Knife, flint, and rope.
Very useful items. Um, do you have a plan if trucking becomes something you're no longer enjoy?
Um, as far as planning for that far ahead, no, I really don't have any plans on that. But if it comes to a point of stop driving, I'd probably go back into construction work.
What was the best and the worst part of working construction?
The physical strain, I would say, was one of the worst things
Yep.
outside of, safety hazards, being up on scaffolds or up hanging in the rafters.
Okay. When working construction, have you ever worked for somebody that tried to order you to do something unsafe?
Oh, plenty of times.
And how did you handle that?
I don't do it. If it's going to jeopardize my safety and the safety of others, you don't do it.
I found a good response to that because I was an industrial mechanic all my working life. Uh, every time I got told to do something I knew was unsafe, I'd just say, "All right, just a minute. I got to check with OSHA, make sure it's okay." They usually backed off every time, so it works out well. Paul wants to
Right.
know, if you could sit down and talk with 2 people, alive or dead, who would you choose and why?
Hmm. Two people, alive or dead. Well, I'd love to have a sit down conversation with the man in black himself.
Oh, yeah. And
What
why him?
inspired him?
That's a good question. All right, Peter, I'm going to modify your question to make it accurate. Dan, do you exercise your Second Amendment right to bear arms?
Yes, I do.
Peter, so you know the First Amendment is the one that deals with free speech and freedom of the press. Second Amendment is the one, the right to bear arms. Um, how would you like people most to remember you?
Remember me as I am, not as they want me to be.
Okay. Um, So you spend a lot of time over the road. Do you find when you're at home that you prefer to stay at the house and not drive anywhere?
Oh, I get a case of I don't want to on a day to day basis. And when I'm at home, that's basically leaving work at work and the stresses that come with it.
So what when you're home after particularly stressful time trucking, what do you do to be relaxed at home? What
So
most
I have to
relaxes you?
do absolutely nothing.
There's something really valuable about that. People don't understand. Sometimes you really need to do that. Just sit, not do a damn thing.
Right. And
How often do you
like,
come home to a list from Vamp of honeydews?
every week, every week.
Paul asked, "What's your ideal date night out with Vamp?"
My ideal date night with Vamp would be us going out for dinner, enjoy dinner together, come home, veg out, and watch TV or play games. Keep it simple.
Okay, I have to ask, what kind of truck do you drive when you're over the road?
Currently driving a Freightliner Cascadia. I believe it's a 2022 model.
Have you driven any other model of big rig?
Started out with my previous company driving an international. It started having problems. I went from an international to a Mack truck for about 2 months. And then they finally got the international back, and that was around December when I left them and I got on where I'm at now. And
Bugs asked, what happened when Vamp and she met?
when Vamp and Bugs met, we walked into a Mexican restaurant. I saw them out the corner of my eye sitting at the table, her and Steve. Vamp was talking to the hostess because she, quote unquote, had a reservation with them for 4 people. And all of a sudden, I hear Bugs in the background, "We're over here." And she
Okay.
fangirled and freaked out.
The Vamp is good for that.
Yeah.
Um, what is your favorite adult beverage?
Hmm. Between Irish whiskey and mead, those are my two go tos. I do like my rum from time to time.
Now that mead that I drank at your wedding reception is
Yeah.
among my favorite things I've ever had, and I've never had it since. So you gotta hook me up again at some point.
Copy that.
All right. I do want to take a moment here and announce that this time at 3 o'clock next Sunday, the 30th of August, Big Tank Talk will be interviewing Fur Babies or Family 2, my friend Jen. Looking, this was supposed to be her slot, and I had forgotten to write it down. So you filled in, and I appreciate you. And Jen was she had no problems bumping it back a week. So I got to remember when I schedule people to actually write it down because once I sleep, it's like a reset. Anyway, back to questions. Peter wants to know. He says, when I can get to the U.S., would you be able to get me moonshine or Everclear? I figured that question was coming up.
Um, I could probably get the Everclear a lot better or a lot faster than I can get moonshine. I don't really know anybody that makes moonshine, so the Everclear would probably be your best bet.
Yeah, you can get Everclear any liquor store. If he wants genuine moonshine too, not the stuff you can buy in the liquor stores. Um, for that, Peter, if you come to the States, go to Western Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, up in the mountains there. You'll find plenty of people that make moonshine up there. Although with with your accent, they may be a little suspicious.
Right.
So where would you say is your dream place to live? If you could live anywhere you wanted, where would you live?
Dream place to live anywhere in the world. Well, I never left the U.S., so that leaves everything else. But I would say Scotland or Ireland.
Is there any what about Scotland fascinates you besides your heritage?
I just love the scenery.
They do have some beautiful places there, that's for sure.
The scenery and architecture, and that kind of excites me a little bit.
Peter, I see your comment about learning to speak American. Um, as you travel if you come to the States, I think you'll learn as you travel from one place to another, the accents change. So there's no quote unquote American accent. If you go to Boston, you're going to hear
Forget
one
about it.
accent. And if you go into the mountains, say of North Carolina, where I was born, they're not going to sound anything like the people in Boston. There's a wide variety of accents. And I would say if you come to the States, just be yourself and you'll be accepted that way. Um, what most impressed you about Vamp when you met her?
Mm, just the way her personality and mine mix.
And how long after you met her did you know that she was the one?
Oh man, I felt it way quicker than she did. So I'd say probably within the first couple of months of talking.
That's cool. Have you ever considered taking her out on the road with you?
I've considered it, but I also know how she is riding in a vehicle for long periods of time.
So as much as you'd enjoy her company, she wouldn't. She probably would be in pain pretty quick, huh?
In pain, and I don't necessarily stop every 30 minutes to go to the restroom.
There is that. What?
Who's
Who said the L word first? Dan.
I don't have to say anything.
I think it was pretty much a given when you said you knew before she did.
Right. I answered that question before she asked it.
Have you guys actually taken a honeymoon?
Not yet.
Do you plan to?
Planning on it. Just have to bide our time with work and go from there.
That's fair. You know, a honeymoon is always a good idea at a, you know, as a anniversary gift along the way.
Right.
You know, people have to understand not everyone can take the time to do a honeymoon after getting married. Some people got to keep working and keep the bills paid.
Exactly.
So Dan, um, unless somebody in the chat has questions, I'm at the point now. I want to offer you the opportunity to do a shout out. Shout out can be for whoever, whatever you want. Totally up to you.
Well, my shout out is to all my friends and family here and in the real world for the support and encouragement to keep doing what I'm doing.
I like that. Um, I always follow that up by shouting out a few people. First and foremost, I got to shout out Paul. He is my partner in Big Tank Talk. He screen records uh, every week and does a great job. I need to shout out Bugs, who pins my questions, and having one person pin the questions prevents confusion, which happened before Bugs started doing that. Ronan is my sniper. Not just in this live, but in my music live as well. He keeps the riffraff out, as does Vamp. And I also have to thank everybody that comes in and asks some really good questions and make these interactive interviews go as well as they do. And last but not least, Dan, I want to thank you for being my guest today, brother.
Oh, it was a pleasure. I was honored to do so.
Well, the honor was having you here. Trust me. And I'm glad that I've met you in person too. You're really an amazing person and a dear friend. And with
I
that,
appreciate the
guys,
compliment.
the interview will be available to view at noon on Wednesday on my YouTube channel. If you're not subscribing, please do. I do an interesting interview every week, interview some really fascinating people, and I've got some good ones coming up. And with that, have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you guys out on the Clapper streets.
Y'all have a good one, guys.